Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Creative Living. And I'm the Reverend Doti Boon, and I'm so excited to have you here on the first Sunday in June. Yeah, June 6th. And we're starting Gay Pride Month. So we're going to have a lot of interesting speakers, and then we're going to have a lot of people who are just coming by to say howdy. And one of those interesting speakers is going to be Desmond, who's going to be speaking on Father's Day. He's a dad of a 9-month-old baby girl, and I'm so excited to have him come talk about being a dad. You know, now that he has all that experience behind him, so it's going to be an exciting time. Now, this coming Sunday, which is the next Sunday, we're going to have me, and I'm going to talk about the benefits of being psychic, how it benefits you to be able to feel and sense what's coming up, and kind of give you some ongoing tips on how to get in touch with that intuitive part of you. Now, today we have Reverend Joan Stutes, and Reverend Joan is going to be talking about the new moon, the new energy, and the new ideas that she has to help you move forward spiritually and monetarily. Yeah, she's going to be giving you some great tips. This is a wonderful day for us to start learning how we can handle ourselves in our spiritual way, our physical selves, our monetary self, all of those ways of making our life more better for ourselves. So I want you to stay tuned here, okay? And the other thing we have coming up is our Reverend Dr. Ayleen Augustine. She's going to be doing a prayer and a message. And then we have our wonderful Reverend, and you might know her because it's Reverend Dr. Janet Childs. And Janet Childs is all over the place these days, helping out with the pandemic, helping out with the massacre we had here in San Jose. She is one of those people that helps everybody. So I know you're going to enjoy watching her play her guitar and sing some meditative music. And it's going to be accompanied by some videos by Reverend Corry Gott. If it sounds like there's a lot of reverends here, that's because we're a ministerial church. In other words, we teach people how to be ministers. If you're interesting, I know you're interesting, but if you're interested in becoming a minister, call me, Reverend Doti Boon, at 408-220-5780. And I will be able to enroll you in ministerial school. And the classes I teach on Thursday nights are those classes in how to become a spiritualist being, which helps you towards your ministerial certification. And that's one of the reasons I like having those Thursday night classes. Last Thursday night, we talked about you getting in touch with your spirit guides. Now, in the next Thursday night, we're going to have, not this coming Thursday, but the one after, I'm going to be giving you readings from my spirit guide, Mahalalea, which is very exciting to do. So I know you're going to get a good message from them. If any of you have missed out on the handouts that I passed out, please contact Reverend Corky Whitaker, and you can get in touch with Reverend Corky at 408-220-5779, and she will send you some of the handouts of the class that you've missed. Yeah. And so you can look at all of the wonderful paperwork that we've prepared, only it's going to be coming to you via your computer. And you can get a chance to look at what are being taught, the things that are being taught at the various classes. Okay. Now, I hope you're ready for a great Sunday. I know I am. And if you have any questions that you want to ask, please know you can give me a call. I'm also available to do psychic readings, and I'm also available just to say hi. So if you're feeling lonely, if you want somebody to talk to, give me a call. I'm glad to hear from you.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Ayleen Augustine, and it is my pleasure to be here with the prayer. And it is such a lovely day, and, it's such a lovely time up here on the mountain as, we start to go into summer, which, holds sort of a mixed blessing, because on one hand, the weather's beautiful, it's, the nights are warm, and it is, very wonderful to see all of the creatures just kind of making the most of the day. And also, it is a time when we head back into another fire season, which was tremendously hard on those of us up here, and some, much harder than others. I was one of the very lucky ones who still had a home to come back to. And for that, I am very grateful, and I'm wearing my grateful shirt here. And it's a nice reminder to be able to find balance with the idea that sometimes things are hard and sometimes things are unpleasant. And it's just kind of where we have to be in that moment. And to also understand that as difficult as those times can be, it can also be very rewarding. And there are many gifts that come from going through difficult times. As the saying goes, smooth seas do not make for great sailors. So if you're going through one of those rough seas, just understand that, you will make it through, that you are not alone, that you have everything inside of you to overcome it, and that on the other side of it, you will realize that you were so much stronger than you ever thought you could be. It's always good to be able to acknowledge when things, maybe aren't so great, with the knowledge that everything passes, whether it's a good time or a bad time. And I have the saying, life is fun until it isn't, and it sucks until it doesn't. Because no matter how fun it is, at some point it's going to suck. And no matter how much it sucks, at some point it is going to be fun again. And the trick is to be able to understand what it means to be a part of that spectrum, to not attach to whatever state you're in, because it will always pass. So just hang in there. If things are hard, they will pass, and they will leave behind a gift of wisdom and strength and resilience and confidence that you didn't have before. And when things are going awesome and great, appreciate them in that moment and enjoy them in that moment, because that moment will pass, and then the time for challenges and growth will happen again. So wherever you are, you're there. Wherever you are, it's perfect. Wherever you are, don't cling to stories that say it'll never get any better, because it will. Because we have an amazing, wonderful Creator who watches over each and every one of us. And it is in those hard times that we know that that Creator is walking right beside us and occasionally giving us a piggyback ride, as in the poem Footsteps. We were never promised that everything would be awesome all the time. And we were promised that we would not be alone. And I feel that promise in my heart every single day. And I pray that everyone else does. Because as we go through those difficult times, as we go through those challenges, it takes a lot of pressure to make a diamond. And the finest steel is forged in the hottest fire. So appreciate the lessons that come with wherever you're at. Because no matter what, you will end up with more and being more than you were before that process started. So, take a nice deep breath. And as you release it, just go ahead and let go of any attachment other than this moment. Because in this space and at this time, you don't need to hold on to those things that are weighing on you. Just let them fall aside into that little imaginary basket, because that's your care basket. And just let them sit there, because you're with friends. You're in a moment of fellowship and community. and just be. We are humans being. So that's all you have to do. And whatever you are being in this moment, you are loved, and you are watched over, and you're not alone. Dear blessed and wonderful Creator, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for our lives. We thank you for the blessing of each and every moment and each and every breath. We thank you for the blessing of, and ask that you bring blessing on all those touched by this community, all those who interact with it, all those who support it, all those who are a part of the parent church, the Universal Church of the Master, all those who lead it. And especially, Creator, we ask special blessing on all of those who this message reaches, who are going through a difficult time. Because we know that sometimes those difficult times come in just so we can realize how much you're there for us. Sometimes it's in those hard moments that you teach us that it is in darkness that the light shines brightest, and that no matter what, you are here. And you are present, and you love us, and you're proud of us, and you encourage us, and you forgive us, so that we may learn to do all those things for others. Creator, we thank you for the guidance that we receive in those moments that we're not sure, whether we listen to it or not. And we thank you for the fact that even when we don't listen, you're there with another opportunity for us to learn. Creator, thank you for another season as it changes. And as things grow warm and the light grows long during the day, let us make the most of that time. Let us make the most of each and every day that we're given, so that each and every night that we're given, when we can lay our heads down to rest, we know that we've had a good day with you. Creator, we thank you for all you give and all you are. And whatever it means to you, Creator, we hope you have a wonderful day. For all your creation to the next 7 generations and beyond, Ahom Matak Oyasin, Ago, 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 by earth, sea, and sky, Namaste, Shalom, Assalamu Alaikum, blessed be, and Amen.
Good morning. I am so happy to be here with you on this wonderful, bright, shiny June morning. You know, I am happy today. I woke up happy, but I'm going to tell you a secret. I made a decision several years ago to wake up happy every day. And I invite you to join the Wake Up Happy Club. I also invite you to join the Live Life as an Adventure Happy Club, because I chose to live life as an adventure. It's more interesting that way. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, I have 3 topics, because that's what I love to do, is divide my talks into 3 topics to discuss. The first one is June 6th, the anniversary of the invasion of Normandy, in the full moon, and the part the full moon played. And the second part is new moon energy, big picture new moon energy, and personal picture new moon energy. So we'll talk about that. And then the final part of my talk will be about a book I'm thinking about planning, or maybe could happen book. And I'm going to ask your help on that. Okay, so here we go. In June 6th, 1944, the Allied troops invaded Normandy. It was a massive operation planned for over a year, with the full moon as an important and integral part of the plan. You see, in those days, pilots dropping bombs needed to see their targets. So the full moon lent enough brightness so that the Allied troops with 1,500 planes could drop bombs onto the German defenses, their barracks, their men, their whole war scheme on the Normandy coast. 1,500 airplanes flew that night and dropped bombs, making the way clearer for the men that landed by the sea. Over 5,000 vessels dispensed 150,000 men onto the beaches of Normandy. And some fell, but many did not. And they went forward to climb those cliffs and destroy the German defenses and eventually meet up with the 2 million Allied troops in France. And in June, a year later, July, a year later, 1945, the peace accord was sounded. Now, the importance of the full moon was twofold. One, to help the pilots drop their bombs, but the other part was the high tide that the full moon brings, and to push those vessels into the beach so that they could land more easily. Yes, there were casualties, and last week on Memorial Day, we honored our fallen vets. But Eisenhower, in giving his report to President Roosevelt sighed with relief and said the casualties were not as disastrous as I thought they would be. Now let's go back to how this plan was laid. It was done in secret. The men were sequestered and trained for their mission. They were not allowed to talk outside of their groups. They were not allowed to leave their camp. They were sequestered. They were kept in the dark. The plans were made silently, carefully, calculating which days of the month could be used for this massive invasion. And then it happened. It burst out for the whole world to see. News reports splattered across, giving details, the horrid details, but the victorious details. And suddenly, in the light of the full moon, everyone knew that the Allied troops were on the offensive and that there was a chance democracy was safe. There was a lot of work yet to be done. You see, it took a year from that point to bring about the ultimate defeat of Germany and to sign the peace accord. So first there was the planning in the darkness, then there was the bright moonlight, the public announcement, the public awareness of it, and then there was the work that needed to be done to finalize and really reach the goal. And that's how the new moon energy works and the full moon energy works. And that's what I'm going to talk about next. But first, I want to tell you that when the war ended, I was 10 years old. I was at church camp and I was washing dishes in a great, huge wash tub. And someone came running out of the office and saying, The war has ended. The war has ended. And we ran around saying, the war has ended. Hooray, hooray. And then we got back to washing dishes because after all, life does go on. But I do remember that day vividly. Now, moving on to the new moon energy strategy of bringing your dreams true and into fruition. All right, I spoke with Reverend Sean, who did an extensive talk on moon energy and the different phases of the energy, and come to the conclusion that there's two kinds of moon energy that we can use. One is big picture moon energy, which I'm going to talk about. But first, I'm going to talk about personal moon energy. And what Reverend Sean recommends is getting your astrology chart done and figuring out exactly where your moon is at the time you were born. Now, my moon was in Scorpio on the day that I was born. So whenever there's a moon, a full moon or a new moon, I can look at where it is and how compatible it is with my Scorpio birth moon. Now, Reverend Tamara Bell does absolutely excellent, complete astrology charts. So if you want to pursue this personal new moon energy philosophy, contact Reverend Sean for more information and Reverend Tamara for exact astrology help. And you'll find it interesting, I promise you. And you know, all these months I've been promising you that COVID would end. Remember that? Well, it's not over yet, folks, but we are starting to meet at the center and more in-person meetings will be occurring. And so I promised you that, and it's happening. And I promise you that if you speak with Reverend Tamara or another astrologer and get your chart done with showing your moon sign, you will be rewarded about it and enlightened. Okay, that was the personal moon strategy. Yes. Now we're going to go to big picture moon strategy. Okay, I call the new moon day my thinking day. All right. This is the day that I sit down and think about what I want to accomplish. What is lacking in my life? What do I feel that I need to be more complete? What talent would I like to develop? You know, I ask myself all these questions, and then after much thinking, I write down on a little slip of paper a message to God. And it's pretty informal. So it goes like this. Hello, God. I have a problem. Send me the answer, please. Thank you, Joan. You see, it can be very informal because I talk to God every day. In the morning, I say, hello, God, here I am. Now, it needs to be more complete than that. So I signed up for this very expensive class on how to give talks and get speaking gigs, which will give me lots and lots and lots of clients. It sounded like so much fun. And after I got into the class, I absolutely hated it. I didn't like the people in it. It was confusing. It was disorganized. I tried to drop out. I asked for a refund. They said no. So I said, okay. And it was a long class. It was like 13 weeks. So anyway, my new moon strategy, I sat down and I said, hello, God. I don't know how to get speaking engagements, speaking gigs, opportunities to speak. I don't know how I'm going to use this speech that I'm obviously going to create because I spent all this money learning how to create it. So, hello, God, I need your help in showing me how to get speaking engagements. Thank you. Love, Joan. Okay. Now, I wrote it on a little piece of paper. I kept a little piece of paper by my desk where I could see it. And then on the full moon, so that's about 2 weeks, right? I thought about it some more during that time. But basically, that was my prayer, my question. And on the full moon, I tore it up in little shreds and threw it out on the back lawn. And you can do that, or you can burn it carefully. Be very careful if you choose to burn it. But you need to let it go. This is what you've decided to do. This is what you want to do. And now it's going to emerge. And so the next part after the full moon is what I call your opportunity time. Because the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to get little hints about how to solve your problem. So amazingly, I started seeing articles about the combination of health and wealth. Get your finances in order so you can have better health. Treat your heart right and your money will be right. Treat your money right and your heart will be right. So I started seeing all these articles about the combination and the relationship between health and wealth. Then I started noticing that in my networking groups, most of the people are nutrition people, coaches, and health and wealth advocates. And I ended up with 2 speaking engagements in the fall, because by then I'll have this massive speech prepared and be able to present it to these groups. Now I want to tell you another part of this story. My company, Transamerica, has a whole bunch of things about the combination of health and wealth, which I never paid any attention to. They have a whole thing about people who walk every day, save money regularly, and have a secure future. Things like that. But I never saw them before. But I did see them in my opportunity time. Now, you have 2 weeks. Your job is not finished. Remember, there was a year before the war was finished. You have a lot of work to do. The Allied troops had a lot of work to do to bring peace about. And you have a lot of work to do after the full moon. It doesn't mean, the full moon does not mean your prayer is answered. It means that it was heard and that you accept it and that you're going to begin acting on it. You see, there's a difference. It's not complete. There's a lot of work to do still. There is a website called newmoonchecks.com. And one of my friends does a little different thing. They go into that website and download a check made out to the universe, and they fill in their desires. She fills in her desires for that period of time. I asked her the results, and she said, Joan, it's remarkable. It won't happen immediately. Remember, there's the opportunity time. The work is not finished. It doesn't happen immediately, but she's had good sums of money brought to her from unexpected sources. So that's another way that you can use this new moon energy. You can go to that website, newmoonchecks.com. You can download a check. You can write out your desire in the form of a check, and it could be any desire. Send me love, send me a companion. I want an exciting trip. You know, what is it that you want? What is it that you have the courage to ask for? Write it out, and then again at the full moon, shred it, toss it, or burn it carefully. And then watch for your opportunities and watch for what happens next. Remember, there's work to be done. There's work for you to do in believing that it will happen, and there's work for the universe to bring it into you. Isn't that exciting? So new moon energy. There's personal new moon energy when you know your astrology chart and you can work with it that way. There's big picture new moon energy that has a thinking day, what I call a thinking day on the new moon, an acceptance or a revelation day where your desire is accepted and acknowledged with the full moon. And then there's the work to do and during the opportunity time. So that's the Joan Stutes method. I've never seen that anywhere else. You want to know the truth? I made it up, but I've used it and it sounds great to me and it worked for me. So I invite you to try it. And why not? You know, life is an adventure. And when you wake up happy every morning and are committed to life being adventure, it's absolutely incredible what wonderful things happen during your life. Okay. Now I get to talk about my book. My book. You know, perhaps you're like me. I have a book in mind that I may be able to put together, and I may be bringing out, and I may be publishing, and I may be writing, and I may be thinking about, and I may be dreaming about, and maybe lots of you have books just like that. A year ago, I committed to writing 52 articles for the newsletter. And the general column was spiritual methods of creating wealth. It's funny, I can't even remember the name of the column right now. But I had a lot of fun doing it, and I reached my goal. Yippee! I did 52 articles, and I'm so excited because last week I did number 52 and handed it in to Corky. And Corky said, well, what are you going to do next? And I said, well, all right, the articles I wrote were somewhat random. There were some on journaling. There were some on my own experience. There were some mentioning books that I've read. There were some basic things about money and health and wealth. So, but they were fairly random. It was kind of like, what do you want to write today, Joan? And it was 300 to 400 words. So it was pretty easy to do. And I hope some of you followed it or at least read some of them. Some of them are really good and some of them are really boring, but I did it. One a week for 52 weeks. Oh, I skipped a couple of weeks, but I did write 52 columns. All right, so this is my new idea that I had in the new moon on my thinking day. And that is that I would pick one topic and write 3 articles about that topic, and then write kind of some questions that you could answer so that this comes out like a workbook. All right, so the first one is going to be wealth is a mindset. Now, miraculously enough, my company in the last couple of years has come out with a book called How Money Works. And they created a whole bunch of advertising gimmicks and letters and social media posts on simple money ideas. And one of the things they have is wealth is a mindset. Isn't that amazing? So I saw that and I thought, you know what? I'll start with that one and I'll talk about allowing your mind to entertain the idea of wealth. And then I'll go on and have 3 articles about that. And then I'll have a writing exercise. And so then the next, after those, that's 4, then the next one is going to be, how do you feel about money? Are you happy about money? Do you feel good about money? Do you like having money? Does money worry you? What are your feelings about money? So my goal is to create a workbook that we can use so that if you choose to become wealthy, you have a path. And you can define wealth in any way you want. You can define it as being a multimillionaire. You can define it as having sufficient income to meet your needs so that you don't have to worry. You can define it as being able to be generous to your children and your nonprofit organizations and your spiritual family and feel comfortable about the money that you have for your future. In other words, you can define wealth any way you want to. Now, one of my friends said, well, I've never known a happy millionaire, so I don't care about it. I said, well, that's not true. And she said, what do you mean? I said, you do know a happy millionaire because I'm a millionaire and I'm happy. So if you do have wealth, it's okay. You know, wealthy people are happy, sad, mad, glad, mean, generous, just like other people. It has nothing to, your money has nothing to do with your attitude. Your attitude has everything to do with your spiritual unfoldment and your ability to accumulate wealth. Now I'll confess that yes, I'm a happy millionaire, but I'm here to tell you I missed many opportunities to be a happy millionaire sooner in life and much more than a happy 1 million or 2 million. I could be a multiple millionaire if I had been wise and understood the principles of how money works and took the time to work with it. So that's my confession for the day, because you know, we're all on this path. So how did I end up becoming a happy millionaire at this late in life? Well, 8 or 9 years ago, when Earl became sick, I realized that there was a possibility he would need to be in a nursing home. Therefore, I cut expenses drastically. I did not buy a new car. I drove his SUV, which made me very uncomfortable. We gave up Starbucks. We gave up a lot and lived rather frugally. And I was able to accumulate enough so that if he needed to go into a nursing home, the funds were there. Now, fortunate, thank you, God, he did not need to be in a nursing home. He died peacefully at home last year. So I give thanks that I had the foresight and the long-term plan for Earl's well-being and my well-being. You know, I never made a long-term plan until very recently. My long-term plan was 90 days because that's how long it took to close an escrow when I started in real estate. Do I have enough money to cover 90 days? That was my long-term plan. The other thing I used to do was pay my bills between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. when I was mad, tired, hungry, and upset. And so naturally, it did not bring good vibes into it. I now work with my bills in a prayerful manner, giving thanks for the money that comes in. I get checks in the mail. You know, I got a check the other day. We refinanced the house, or I refinanced the house, I should say. And I got a check for $400. And it was the balance on the escrow fund from the old loan. So here's $400. I get checks in the mail. It's so much fun. And then last year, my computer got all messed up, and I didn't realize I'd already paid my income tax. So I ended up paying my income tax twice. And I got a notice in the mail that I was getting a refund for $10,000. Get checks in the mail. Well, by the time I got the check, it was for $11,000. And I was so excited about it, and I was able to share it with Center for Creative Living at a crucial time. So when I get checks in the mail, you know, I share them. I share the bounty, because remember that regular giving creates regular receiving. So when you get unexpected checks in the mail, be sure to share that with your spiritual family and your nonprofits that you support and believe in. You know, I've told you that I support the Girl Scouts. I support the Grateful Garment Project, and I support Center for Creative Living and Universal Church of the Masters, our mother church, because those organizations are incredibly important to me. They are my spiritual family, and they allow me this opportunity to talk to you and to figure out how to do these speeches and talks and be with you every so often on Sunday. And I've enjoyed it so much. And they gave me the opportunity to write articles in the newsletter. And that has created the opportunity for a book. So you see, there's a lot of opportunities available as you become involved in your spiritual organizations, your nonprofits, the organizations that are doing so much to help the world be a better place. Please, please remember your purpose in life. Your purpose in life. Big picture. Your purpose in life. The reason you came in here. The reason you slid down that beam onto planet Earth and went back is because you committed to making the world a better place. You committed to making the world a better place. However you choose to do it. But that's your overall mission. Now, you may choose to do this through financial education, as I have done with a degree in business and teaching math and selling real estate and selling insurance. You know, I've been involved in all the different aspects of financial education. All right, some people, I had a massage today. Oh my, how nice. My massage therapist chooses to make the world a better place by giving tender massages that I just love. And many of our church members choose to make the world a better place through Reiki treatments, or through past life readings, or through learning about spirit guides or card readings, like our Reverend Doti does readings. So many readings has helped so many people. And she's making the world a better place through those readings. Last week, Gabrielle talked about the Billy DeFrank Center, and I have not yet visited there, but I guess I will be. But Billy DeFrank chose to make the world a better place by opening a center, and then other people came along and said, yes, this is a good idea. It's so important to have a safe place for the LGBTQ community. Well, I sort of rambled on here. Maybe you know this, but I'm excited about this book project. I invite you to give me suggestions on topics, and as we go through it, I hope you'll correspond with me and with some of your writings, perhaps. All right, so let's review what we talked about today. First of all, there's the invasion of Normandy. It was planned secretly in the dark. It was announced in the fullness of the moon for the world to see. There was much work left to be done. In a personal horoscope, you can find the relationship between your birth moon and the current moon and have greater energy use from that, and separating out the positive energy and perhaps the difficult or negative energy. So that's personal energy with new moon strategies. Then there's a big picture new moon, and that's about your own plan in the dark, in secret. The announcement in the full moon by tearing it up, by burning it, by making a statement, telling a friend what you're going to do, whatever it is, in the fullness and brightness of the full moon, then it becomes public and sent out for you to begin watching for opportunities. And now you have your opportunity time. And you can call that the Joan Stutes method or whatever you want to call it. I had fun making it up. And then the third thing we talked about is a book. And maybe you have a book that you would like to write. Sit down and begin. I wrote 300, 400 words a week for 52 weeks, and I've ended up with what can turn into a book, perhaps. We'll see how that works. Thank you so much for being with me today. I've had so much fun doing this talk. I just love you so much, and I'm so glad we've all survived COVID and that we can move into a happier time where we join the Happy Morning Club and Life is a Happy Adventure Club. Bye for now, but I'll see you next time.
In this moment, every moment, we live moments here and now. In this dreaming, every dreaming, we live our dreaming here and now. Flowing in the river of my soul, in the river of my soul. Flowing in the river of my soul. Flowing, it's helping me to grow. Ooh, helping me to be. Ooh, oh, if I could learn from my history. If I could open up my heart to the mystery. Will I learn this meaningful lesson now? Can I hope to be the magic in my days again? Oh, how flowing in the river, flowing in the river of my soul. Oh, flowing in the river makes me grow. And flowing in the river of my soul. Oh, it helps me to take a stand, helps me to become whole. Look around, people are dying. Look around, a resurrection of faith. Look around, we are finding our footing. We no longer have to wait. We no longer have to wait. Flowing in the river, flowing in the river of my soul. Oh, flowing in the river helps me to grow. Oh, river of my life, river of my hope, help me to be whole. I am flowing in the river of my soul. Slow down, turn around, gaze at the young one of your past. Slow down, turn around, seek the truth beneath the mask. Oh, flowing in the river, flowing in the river of my soul. Oh, flowing in the river helps me to grow. Flowing in the river, flowing in the river of my soul. Oh, flowing in the river helps me to be whole. Help me to be whole. May I sit at the feet of my experience. May I listen to the wisdom of the ancients. And may I know the power of transcendence. Flowing in the river, flowing in the river of my soul. Oh, flowing in the river helps me to grow. Oh, flowing in the river, flowing in the river of my soul. And we, my friends, can flow in the river, can reclaim the lessons that life has brought us. Just allow yourself to be in that river of flowing and feeling, loving and healing. Flowing in the river, flowing in the river of my soul. Oh, we're flowing in the river, helping us to grow. We are flowing in the river of our soul. We are joining in the river. We are being made whole.
Thank you for joining us for this celebration of faith and fellowship. We'll be back next Sunday. And for those of you, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave them in the comments section. If you appreciate this video and the work that the Center for Creative Living is doing, please press like on the video. You can share the video, and also please subscribe, because that will help this community and the church grow. Remember, in these difficult and challenging times, the opportunity to give and support an organization that has done so much for the community is tremendously important. Please help the Center for Creative Living continue in the wonderful work that it does. We will make it through this. We will be stronger for it. Our faith will carry us. Be blessed, be safe, and have a wonderful week.